It's gonna be finally the decider. Who is the better build? Gun Warriors, Spirit Pursuit, or the meta Ripper Tiger build? We're gonna kind of decide that in today's video because we did an insane amount of testing on Lubu, including changing some of the rings for your account to see what is actually better, even as cheaper blue options and obviously purples that you can be using in game. So smash a like, comment, and subscribe because this video is going to surprise a lot of you when we go down the nitty-gritty tunnel of which build is better. And if you don't know what we're talking about, it's all because of one video we made a long time ago, I say a long time ago, a few weeks back, about this Gun Warrior build, running weak spot attack, Spirit Pursuit with Berserker and Critical Insight. This is key to the build. A lot of people don't understand. It's all because with the Berserker trigger increasing your might, especially by 160, this is allowing your actual Night Wolf ring to scale even better for your march, which is really nice. That's kind of what you want to see, right? So this is why we are running as much might as possible on this march, and this is why a lot of people are curious about it, because everyone runs, including myself. I did run this too, Ripper Tiger, which is increasing the heroes, so the Lubu's actual critical strike rate in combat, allowing him to get them stacks from himself, as well as obviously the Attila and Rani combo, trying to generate as much rage, but obviously the Rani here doing hopefully the big burst, right? The big burst. The fact that you can enter that double attack state, but then increasing the might of 40 and the might damage by an extra 33%. An extra third of additional damage is crazy when it props off. And this is what you're kind of gambling on in these two marches. And that's what we need to explain before we go any of these reports. The way these marches are going to go down. Do you want consistency, which is the Spirit Pursuit build? Honestly, you'll see why I'm saying consistency. Or do you want to rely on the critical chance and the Rani combo to align perfectly to just go bang and burst down your opponent? Because the thing is, I'm going to give you my opinion already. Both builds are good. You cannot go wrong with either build. Both builds do an obscene amount of damage in here, right? So let's showcase these breakdowns, because the very first one we've got here is a defeat, but you'll notice we've got victories as well as defeats there, right? So the first defeat, our major defeat that we're going to go down, right? If we go into the comparison, we look at the details of the skills. We need to really pay attention to one number that's going to be the major culprit on why I made my assessment so early on in the video, right? We've got 4 activations of Ripper Tiger at 53k, and then 4 activations of Spirit Pursuit at 51.9k, right? We also have 3 and 2 activations at 34.9 and then 38.5. And you can see as well 6.6 to 11.8k. What does this tell you number-wise? Well, this is telling you in these skills, Lubu was actually critting the damage. And why am I saying that? Well, when we look at some of the other reports, keep an eye out on these two numbers. These two numbers are the ones that really are battling against each other for the spotlight, because what you're going to notice is the weak spot attacks on both sides honestly can behave pretty much identically the same, which is kind of scary to say, because when you look at the buffs on our marchers, you'll see he has more health, he has more strategy defense, he even has more might defense, but I have more strategy attack and might attack than he does for our build, right? Moving into the next one, this is when we get into the good old reports, right? Again, same exact thing, max build, by the way. Everything's max on our account, so everyone's the same. When we go into this comparison, remember the last one, because we are running the exact same, and when we go into the details here, you're going to see a massive difference. And this is when Ripper Tiger does not crit. whenever it does not crit, we've got 3 activation chances versus Spirit Pursuit on 3 activation chances at 65.3k. And I know you might be arguing or typing, wait, maybe Spirit Pursuit actually critted on your side. Well, before you carry on, wait until you see the other reports, because you're going to see there's more consistency on Spirit Pursuit, and that is not because it's critting, because it isn't. It's actually just dealing damage, right? But it just deals a shit ton of damage, right? But Ripper Tiger here is doing 24.9k, and if you look on this side, you can see the weak spot attack on our build actually did crit. We did do 4 triggers, and we did 53.3k, right? So this is kind of crazy. You can see the increases on damage on it. You can see the increase on might damage on it as well, which is crazy. While over here on the Spirit Pursuit, there's no buffs here. There's nothing in here for this to get boosted. This is raw damage, right? So when you go to the stats, you can see 130,000 damage dealt by the Spirit Pursuit build within 10 seconds of combat, guys. That is terrifying. You got 46.6k on the other side on the Ripper Tiger. Moving on, we've got a defeat. So far, if you've been tracking, right? If you've been tracking, we've won one, we've lost one, right? We've got other reports. We're going to go over them, but that's different, right? So I don't want you guys to get mixed up. We've got 1 loss, 1 win. It's 1-1. Now, as you can see, we've got another loss. It's 2-1 in the favor of the Ripper Tiger build. And when we look into the details again, Ripper Tiger is activated 2 times. It's only 16.1k, but the increased critical chance has allowed the weak spot attack on the crit side to carry the game again. Look at that, 81.1k, and even the critical chance on the big AoE doing 15,000 damage compared to ours only doing 2,000, and then 30.1 and 46.6k, guys. So that's what's already crazy, because if, for argument's sake, this skill activated 4 times with the increase on critical strike it had, guess what? It would still only be 32,000 damage, which isn't even close to our 46,000 without buffs. Without buffs. Remember that. This is what's very clever and scary about both builds, because both builds are really good and they are really hyper optimized to do what they are trying to do, and you're going to see that clearly as they're in this video. Here's another one. We've got a victory now, 2-2 in the camp or scoring system. We've got 2.4k versus 1k on the top, but 58.9k, guys. That's increased might damage and damage overall on our march. That's obscene. However, 61.3k with 0 buffs on to the 1 activation chance, because they got absolute obliterated here, as you can imagine. 22.1k. This only had the increased critical strike rate on it, and that is it. It had no bonus damage or anything outside. Same with the weak spot attack, 5.9k, because it only had the 1 activation. Moving on, we got another victory, 3-2 in the camp of the Spirit Pursuit. And when we come in here and go to the details, you're going to see again, massive thing here. 4 activations, 35.1k, 4 activations, 61k. Like, it is not even close, guys, how much better the Spirit Pursuit is operating just on damage per damage basis. Yes, and then you'll see here, this is the closest one out of any of them. This is the best report, I think, because you can see even 1-1, 5.7 to 6.3, 4-4, 48 to 48, 10 and 14 triggers on their skills. So they were doing pretty much as well as each other. The deciding factor, though, was the damage from this major skill, because when we look at any of the other guys, again, if you just want to see how things were activating on the Guan Yu, it was activated 5 times on the Berserker and so forth. And when you look at the stats again, 130,000 damage to 103,000 on the other side. It's 3-2, and now guess what, guys? It's 4-2. Yes, you heard right. 4-2 in the favor of Spirit Pursuit, and that is because, again, 4 for 4 activations, we're doing more damage, 58.5k to 32.6k, versus their 3 to 3 activations, 45.3 to 51.5. Both on 1-on-1, 10.1 to 8.6. You can literally see, if this doesn't put it in perspective, which is the better build, I don't know what does, because obviously I can keep rambling on and showcasing and keep going, but we're going to have gameplay as I've been obviously talking about this on screen, so you can see how these fights looked during the live stream that we did through all the testing that we've done. And then, obviously, we finish it up. 4-2 in the favor of, obviously, Spirit Pursuit. Now, we've got 2 fights left. We've pulled one back. It's 4-3 in the favor of our good friend Ripper Tiger, and this one was a really good actual showcasing of why this build's good, because the thing is, it's critting on that weak spot attack. That weak spot attack is always doing an absurd amount of damage in this Lubu build, compared to the 5 activations at 25.8k damage of Ripper Tiger. You got 10.2k for 1 activation. Again, I don't know if it truly is worth it to run. I'm going to be real, because when you get to the final report, we've got a victory. It's in our favor. 5-3 in our favor on this, testing so far on what we were doing for these builds. And the thing is, when you go to the details again, it just showcases the whole problem. I can activate my Spirit Pursuit 2 times with 0 buffs on it, and I am going to be getting 37k to the 4 activations with increased critical strike on the ability, and they're only doing 38.9k. My weak spot attack, as you can see, can hit absurd numbers. 69,000 is crazy because of the increase on damage and the might damage it has. But the weak spot attack on the crit build can do the exact same. The real major difference to me is these 2 skills. Is it going to be Spirit Pursuit, or is it going to be Ripper Tiger? And what I'm going to tell you again is both builds are good. Both builds are actually good. The thing is, it comes down to preference, right? Do you want to run a build which, when you look at things, has basically a Spirit Pursuit might based combo? That's all it is. It's about might and just keeping that consistent. When I hit it, it's gonna hit super goddamn hard, and I don't have to worry about the crit strike. That is how this build works. If you don't like that, but you prefer to gamble a little bit more, then that's the Rani build for you, because the Rani with the Attila here is going to generate you an absolute truck ton of crit. But what you're looking for is that Rani on her turn to trigger Warrior's Hymn to give you that critical strike and then give you that increased might, and then her Warrior Cream to give them the double attack state to Lubu, and on top of that increase their might even further by an additional 40 points, and the might damage by an extra 33%. If this 25% chance lands in those fights, that is when you see the absolute crazy amount of burst that occurs from the Lubu March, right? So hopefully I've given you guys a bunch of, evidence there on which build is good and which build is bad. And I've given you my opinion, right? I think both are good. I am going to run, though, the Spirit Pursuit combo. I'm actually going to run this. I prefer this too for 2 different reasons. Guan Yu, super accessible, being a talent-based hero. I can use this really early on in the game because I only need to work on my Attila and then get Lubu. And that's it. Technically, for a free-to-play player, if I only have to get 2 heroes and get an absolute monstrous budget match, that's great, because later on in Season 4, maybe Season 5, there's going to be eventually a Warrior Critical Strike hero called, I think, Timber or Timberlay, something like that. It's going to replace Guan Yu, and that's going to be perfect timing for free-to-play players, because you're going to have a whole season of Season 4 that you might have saved up, because you didn't want any of those, Tactician Pikemen that's come out, right? Really, really cool. So, I like both builds, but the video is not over. I know, the video is not over. We've done a lot there, and if you've enjoyed it so far, smash a like, comment, and subscribe, and give a big shout out to Shuby as well in the video, because Shuby, another fellow Empire 64 player in our alliance, obviously helped out doing all of these tests for us and just made it really smooth sailing. And you can check out all the tests, guys, on the live stream in the description down below if you want to check that out, right? But what we're going to do is actually come up here and start to scroll up, because you'll see there is one time when I do a nice little dividing defeat wherever it is. There's one time I basically lose and then lose again, and it's because I had to do it this way so then I can split up the actual reports I know when I changed things up. It's this one, right? So this is when I got Bulba, big old Bulba came and swarmed down the Lubu, and seeing how well it did, it got absolutely destroyed. I'll put a little clip there for you guys. So, carrying on though, moving on. We did some extra testing, and this is where it's going to be a little bit interesting for you guys, and I'm going to give you a bit more opinionated stuff here, but it's to do with Tranquil water, and this is a really cool ring that you can be putting onto your Lubu march, because the thing is, you might not have access to the Lord of the Eastern Kingdoms, or Heavens, should I say, which is like the better ring that you should be putting on this march, and even with Scorching Flame, if you don't have that ring, one ring you can put on is Tranquil Water. And Tranquil Water on this Lubu match is very good. It's very disgusting too, for one major reason. And it's kind of not, I don't even want to say it because I feel dirty explaining this. But the Tranquil Water combo, why you put it on Lubu? Well, you put it on the Lubu match to fight other Lubus. It's as simple as that. If you're going to fight another Lubu that's running the exact same build as you, but you're going Tranquil Water and they are not, you generally should win that fight about 80-70% of the time. And that is all because of the effect of this. You get a 40% troop damage taken reduction, and you also get a 10.8% troop skill damage reduction with the best two, obviously, premium stats, right? 5.4% health and 10.8% defense. So your troops are super, super tanky. And because of that 40% and the 10.8%, that reduction, honestly, is cutting that Lubu's damage in half. So yes, they might crit you, and yes, you might crit them. But the difference is your crit will hit them for full value, while theirs is going to be cut basically by 40% to 50%, which is nasty when it comes into the 1v1 fights, especially in an open field when you're maybe tasked with killing Lubus and you're just getting bursted down because of the amount of glass cannon damage that there is in the AoE. Well, this is going to prevent that. So I really do like this. Really cool ring. I actually would recommend rocking this ring for your batch. Now, we did some other rings, and this is where I'm going to probably get shouted at from some of you guys, but at the same time, I kind of have my own opinion on it, right? So the first one is going to be Ring of Iris, and I actually really like this one. It sounds silly, I know, but I do. 5.5% crit strike rate. It's as simple as that, nothing else. This is a really good ring for Lubu because it's super cheap. It is honestly ridiculously cheap. It's a blue ring, right? Yes, you only go to level 30 max, you only get 6.8% troop attack and defense, but the fact that you can get this maxed out super quickly on your account and get 5.5% extra critical strike rate does allow you to actually free up your ring choices, your signet rings that you run, because you can run Ring of the Iris on your Lubu, which is going to help give him that little bit of crit chance that he's going to need in his build, which you might have sacrificed because you're not running that much on the might build, right, with the Ripper Tiger being lost. This kind of circumvents the Ripper Tiger loss that you've got, but on top of that, it's just super effective because you can put the Radiant Guardian on your Mulan now. So you can actually run a really good blue ring on Lu Bu and then run Radiant Guardian on either Hannibal or Mulan, depending on what matches you are running. And it actually frees up that signet ring slot, which I actually think needs to be mentioned, which is really good. Another ring, and you'll notice here we did win in this fight, which was really nice to see. 61.3k here, 46.3k here, 14 to 57.1. And again, this is kind of just showcasing what we've said so far throughout the video. 3 activations at 61.5 to 5 activations at 57.1. You need to do so much more work for this Ripper Tiger to match up to the Spirited Pursuit's just outright bulliness of its effects. But then we did some more testing, and this is one test everyone was asking me to do, which was obviously once we've done these Ring of the Iris ones, was Ring of the Daisy. Ring of the Daisy. I want to see how good Ring of the Daisy is. So we did some Ring of the Daisy ones, and I'll be honest with you, this just did not, this just did not perform as good as the crit chance. It sounds sad, I know, from our tests, that is. Obviously, I'm not saying this is concrete proof, but the issue with this double strike, I just feel like you're not generating enough. Does that make sense? Like, this honestly does fit someone like Mulan a lot better, that is just doing multiple instances of attacks and always trying to stay in double attack states, while you are going in a double attack state with Attila, but you're not really relying on it. You're relying on crit and getting that massive burst. Yes, it's an okay ring if you've got this and you've got it leveled up over the Ring of the Iris. You can equip it. I'm not going to hate you for it, but I do think the Ring of Iris is a better option, in my opinion, for the blue rings here, right? And the thing is, we did, like I say, finish up on checking this, and if you go on the comparison on that actual report, in the details, you can see here, like, it just wasn't, you know, it just didn't feel great, you know, like, we lost a lot of stats because of the ring, and the ring's damage isn't really up to par to even epic rings or even a legendary ring's worth of damage. Yes, you can get it up easier, I will always say that, but always making it easier doesn't mean it's always going to be better. Here you can see one time we did manage to win with the Ring of the Daisy. That's why I'm saying it's not too bad. But again, I'm just not 100% feeling it. That's just me, though. That's me, right? Because we got a defeat here, which is, again, I believe, Ring of the Daisy. If we go back in, there you go, Ring of the Daisy. We lost again. And then, guess what? Every one of these is a defeat with the Ring of the Daisy, just to put it in there for you guys. Ring of the Daisy here again, going into the next one, Ring of the Daisy again on this one. It's just like, we won the one time out of like 9 times we ran, right? And then we swapped back into the critical strike rate to see if this could win any times, or if it was just pure luck again. And it's kind of followed the same suit, but it was more, as you can see, narrow defeat on here when it came to using the critical strike rate. So that's kind of why I went down. I'd rather have the critical strike. I've won and I've had a narrow defeat compared to winning one and just flat out losing everything else really, really hard. We can look at this narrow defeat too. If you go up here, this was Pikeman. This is going to be leading on to our next video for you guys, and let me know how you want me to do future tests in the live streams. This is going to be the video that might come out maybe tomorrow or the next day after. Leo versus Richard, what's finally better? You guys were asking. We've done all the tests for that, so I hope you guys appreciate when they come out. But yeah, this is basically the conclusion for the Lu Bu video, right? We've done a bunch of video testing for him. We've done a bunch of discussions on him, and you guys really enjoyed it, and I've really enjoyed the journey we've had with Lu Bu currently. But my conclusion is, I'm going to go down the Spirited Pursuit combo. I prefer it. I'm going to be honest. I just prefer the fact that it does so much damage that 1 or 2 times, which you know you're going to get most likely, compared to relying on that crit chance to hit, to get the big burst, to do the craziness. And even then, when you don't get the crit, the amount of activations that you're gaining through the skill just doesn't feel like it's worth the amount of damage for it. There's going to be just better damage alternates, especially in the current meta of Age of Empires Mobile, which is super damage heavy currently. The meta is fast-paced, big burst damage. Who dies first is all that matters, and people are playing like that, right? They're not playing just for survivability, sustain, because the commander pool really doesn't actually justify that right now, right? So maybe in the future it will, but the current one, it doesn't. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. It's all about Lubu. We've done all of the good old testing. You can check out all the live stream testing we did in the description down below. Again, if you've checked it out, thank you for watching the live stream. It's been fun. And if you've enjoyed this video, smash like, comment, and subscribe. Share it about. Let people see what we've been able to do here in the Age of Empires mobile community. And until the next video, stay safe, stay sneaky, guys, and peace out.